he did the first 6.
See, they're not scoring like he thought they would.
If it's fair, it's gone. It is a home run for Francisco Lindor.
I can control the ball coming out of my hand. I can't control what happens after that.
And nobody can keep that one in the yard. Lindor drives one deep left field. Back on the track. His hat. He's up and it's gone. It's a game-tying home run.
Mets fans, how are you feeling on this Thursday afternoon? A big move by the Mets and the Indians just a few minutes ago worked out. It looks like it's a done deal. Let's put it up. The Mets are getting Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco. The Indians are getting Amed Rosario, Andres Gimenez, Josh Wolfe, and Isaiah Greene. The Mets make the move. They jump out. They're not waiting for Springer. They're not waiting for LeMahieu. They are getting aggressive, and they are getting a deal done. If you're in here, you're hanging out, what do you think? Do you like this trade? Do you hate this trade? If you're a Mets fan, you got to love the trade. But this is a big one. I got to think that we do some kind of – I got him. Let's get rid of Yankees. We're going into timeout. Sorry about it. You got to put your timeout. So we got a big deal here. Francisco Lindor goes to the Mets. Let's talk about it for a second. Let's get the banner down. And we're going to dive into Francisco Lindor first. What are the Mets getting here? Well, they're getting a 4-time All-Star. This is only his age 27 season. He is entering the prime. He's been incredible. He's only going to get better. He will be an unrestricted free agent, however, after next season. That's the catch here, is that unless the Mets have a deal in the works that they're going to be able to lock him up for longer. And I apologize if you see me looking away. It's because I'm checking my phone. I'm checking Twitter. The deal is they're gonna pay him for 1 year. He's got one final year left of arbitration. That's why the Indians wanted to make the trade. And the Mets, they've got the money, right? They've got the financial means. They're in the bigger market. They have a better chance of signing him long term. But they're only guaranteed the 1 season. So we'll take a look at what the Mets gave up and see if they maybe gave up too much or what. But we'll do that in just a minute. You got to feel like the Mets, I mean, Cohen has been out there trying to, get the fan base riled up, get them motivated, get them excited. And I think they do that with this deal. This is huge. This is one of the best players. I mean, if you're ranking, if you're going on like fantasy baseball, is he top 10? I don't know. But from just a baseball standpoint, he's one of the top players that are in the game right now. And the fact that he's going to be 27 is just huge. Big deal here. Spot Track's value for him for what he will make in arbitration is around $28 million. The Mets will have that. That's fine for the Mets. It's what does he make? What is his contract after this? How does this go? Does this go $30 million, $35 million for 10 years? What are the Mets going to be looking for? But they got to do something big. Baseball HQ.com, their projection for 2021 for Francisco Lindor. Usually we have a graphic for this, but we're doing this live. 98 runs, 28 homers, 76 RBI, and a 279, 341, 484 slash line. Pretty good. We're going to take a closer look at Lindor here, looking at just the last couple of years. So over the last few years, about 40% of the balls he put in play are on the ground. 60% are in the air. We talk about this with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., that only 20% of what he hits is in the air, 20, 30%. 60% of what Lindor hits is in the air. They're either line drives or fly balls. His exit velo is above league average. He's about 90 miles an hour on the velo. The rest of baseball is around 88. That's how you get 70 to 80 extra base hits a year. So this is a great move. Anybody that doesn't think Francisco Lindor is elite is crazy. Johnny, the Mets gave up. We'll put it up one more time. We do have the trade details here. It's Lindor and Carlos Carrasco going to the Mets. So they get a pitcher as well. That's important because we've been talking about this on this channel for a few weeks now, that the Mets need to do something else, that the pitching rotation that they have right now, there are some concerns. There are some question marks, right? How good is Stroman going to be? What is Syndergaard going to be when he gets back? He gets back. There were some question marks. So Carrasco gives them some nice depth in that rotation that they need, because let's say, Syndergaard comes back and he's great. Stroman comes back, he's great. Good. Well, then you just have a really deep rotation. The Indians are getting Amed Rosario, Andres Gimenez, Josh Wolfe, and Isaiah Greene. And one of the things I did want to do, we want to take a look at what the Indians are getting, because any Indians fans that are popping in wondering about these guys, we're going to talk about it for a couple minutes. Who's going over to the Mets? So first, Amed Rosario. Let's talk about him real quick. He's been around for a few years. He broke in back in 2017 at the age of 21. He's been the everyday shortstop every year since then. Had a nice season in 2019 with 15 homers, a 287, 323, and 432 slash line. So Rosario is a nice piece, and Rosario will be entering his age 25 season. That's a nice piece to get back. And with the, with a shortstop coming over and the shortstop prospects that the Mets had, it makes sense to move on from Rosario. Rosario's arbitration clock is just getting started, so it's a good deal. They get some control for a few years. Ultimately, I think a nice move for the Mets to have Rosario in here. Heading into this, when he made his debut, he actually peaked as the number 8 overall prospect in all of baseball in 2017 by Baseball America and by Baseball Prospectus. Rosario was the number 8 prospect in all of baseball before he made his debut. He's got pedigree. He's getting better. It's a nice piece here. So a nice one with Rosario heading over. Gimenez, he made his debut this past season. 49 games, 263, 333, and 398. So you just saw him. He's got time to get better and to improve his situation heading into his debut. Baseball America had him as high as the 30th best prospect in all of baseball. What's nice here about these top 2 pieces that the Indians are getting is these are guys that when they were coming up, they were highly regarded by the baseball scouting world, and they've got major league time under their belt already. So that's a nice piece for the Indians to get. Major league ready talent that when they were coming up were highly regarded prospects, and they really haven't done anything to squander that. They're getting some nice pieces back with those two. We're going to talk about Josh Wolfe and Isaiah Greene next. Let me just get that up real quick as we're moving around a lot of different things here. So let's go to Josh Wolfe, the highest ranked prospect in the Mets system on this list. He was the number 9 prospect in the Mets organization, right-handed pitcher, hadn't played above rookie ball, played a rookie ball in 2019, put up he only pitched 8 innings, so there's nothing to really go off of. Struck out 12, only walked 1 over 8 innings. Josh Wolfe was a second-round pick in 2019, 53rd overall. He grades out 50 out of 80 on that 20 to 80 grading scale. Fastball is a 60, curveball is a 60. He's 20 years old. How far away is he? He's a few years away. MLB has his ETA at 2023. So a couple years until you're going to see Josh Wolfe. Let's look at Isaiah Greene next. Outfielder. His ETA 2024. He's a year younger. He is 19 years old. Grading a 50 out of 80. He was a 69th overall pick this past year in the in by the Mets. I'm sorry. I'm looking at a lot of things here. So again, 50 out of 80. His best tool is his running, 65 out of 80. His hitting isn't bad, 55 out of 80. Not going to be a power guy. Only grades out 45 out of 80 on the power, but hitting 55, running 65. Not bad. Not bad at all. Coming out of high school when he was drafted. And again, coming out of high school, hasn't played anything yet. And he was the Mets' 10th best prospect. And the Mets have a decent system, right? You got Mauricio, you got Alvarez, you got Beatty, you got Allen. They have a decent system down there. So it's not like he's 10th and the system was garbage. So those are the four pieces that are going to the Indians. And I'm just going to make sure I'm checking Twitter, make sure nothing has changed or anything is different. But that is what we have seen. Yeah, that's the deal. That's the deal. So any Mets fans in here, how pumped are you? Give this a like if you guys are just stoked. If you're a Mets fan and you are stoked, give it a like. If you are a Blue Jays fan or a fan of another team, maybe the Yankees, I felt that the Yankees could be in the Lindor conversation if for some reason DJ LeMahieu doesn't go back. That's not an option now. So the Yankees, I think, maybe push a little bit harder for DJ LeMahieu. We got some people really pumped about this. Thank you guys for hopping in. Anybody new hopping in here for the first time, maybe just discovering the channel, please give this a like and subscribe. We're building a nice baseball community here as I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces here. Kyle, welcome in. Seeger, welcome in. We have a lot of familiar faces. They could tell you we're building a nice community. So subscribe if you haven't already, if you're just discovering the channel for the first time. So this has been this is a big news. Yankees 2021. Take it easy, buddy. Thank you for calming down. I know you were disappointed about it. Yankees fans, Yankees and Mets compete for the headlines, and today the Mets got it. Do the Yankees counter? Can the Yankees counter with the headline and go get DJ LeMahieu? We'll see. That's got to be their number one priority now because, again, we've talked about it on the channel that there are limited options for the Yankees if they don't get LeMahieu back. Lindor was a piece, in my mind, sort of a domino effect. If LeMahieu went somewhere else, Lindor was a piece for the Yankees to go and acquire, to bring in. Okay, we're out on LeMahieu. We can't bring Springer in, so let's try to make a splash, keep a big bat in the lineup, and let's go trade for Lindor. That won't be an option. Got to think the Yankees maybe get a little more aggressive on LeMahieu. But here's what the depth chart, here's kind of a little flash of what the lineup could look like for the Mets moving forward now. That left field situation, this is without a DH. I got to think this is what they'll go with. Smith in left, Nimmo in center, Conforto in right. That infield, you got Alonso, McNeil, Lindor, Davis. Not bad. It's good. I mean, this is a Mets team that, you're seeing how the Braves are good. The Nats are trying to stay relevant. You want to get ahead. The Mets put themselves in position here. This is a good team. This is a good team for the Mets. They're in position now to make a move. Abram, Terry, do they still need Springer? I mean, that's a good question. We have some Jays fans here, some Jays fans that sub to the channel. If anybody's in here, I know Kyle, you're in here. Anyone else that's in here? Is this an indication that the Mets maybe feel like they're out on Springer? We don't know how much money the Mets are prepared to spend. Are they prepared to spend the money on Lindor and go get Springer? Or is this kind of going to be the big Mets move? Is this an indication that they're out on Springer? That's sort of my next point here. Sort of the domino effects from this, right? Do the Yankees put a harder press on LeMahieu now? Does this mean that the Jays are closer on Springer? Those are all some fascinating pieces to this that are certainly out there. Anybody new that's hopping in there? We had about 20 people hop in the last 20 seconds. So anybody that's looking for more details on the trade, let me know. We do have some banners to put some details on the trade up here as well, if you're wondering who went back, and I'm happy to kind of go through those pieces if you're curious. How good a prospect is Greene and Wolfe? I don't know much about them, Jay Smoke. I will help you out. I got you, brother. So here is, again, the trade. Wolfe and Greene. We were talking about Rosario and Gimenez. They're nice because coming in, they were both top 100 prospects. Rosario was a top 100 prospect in all of baseball prior to their major league debut. So pedigree guys that have experience. And then Wolfe and Greene. Wolfe is the number 9 prospect in the Mets system. Greene is the number 10 prospect in the Mets system. Wolfe grades out at a 50 out of 80. He is, 20 years old, was drafted in the second round, 2019. When might you see Wolfe in the major leagues? Probably not until 2023. As for Isaiah Greene, the other piece, 19 years old, was drafted just this past season in the 69th overall pick. He's an outfielder, 50 out of 80, a 55 hit, 65 run, and 55 fielding, 45 power. So not a lot of power there. He's a lefty, throws lefty, hits lefty. Anybody that's hopping in, like, what's he talking about? 45, 55, 65. So the grading scale, anybody that's not familiar with that, the grading scale goes on 20 to 80 by the scouts. The closer you are to 80, the better. So that's the way that works. Even with Lindor, the Mets still got one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Well, listen, Dominic Smith is probably not going to win any Gold Gloves out there and left. I don't. The fielding, it is what it is. This team's going to hit. We talked about this a few weeks ago. We did a Bauer video, and we talked about how the Mets, yes, they would like to have another bat. Having another bat would only benefit the team, but they have to keep an eye on that pitching. That's why Carrasco's involved in this deal. That's why I think if they're going to spend money, if you're a Mets fan and you're wondering, what are we going to do next? Is Springer next? I think the Mets probably don't go Springer. I think the Mets probably go pitching. I think Carrasco's nice, but can they get in the Bauer market? Because they scored a ton of runs. Mets fans, you know what I'm talking about. The Mets scored a ton of runs. They had one of the highest OPSs in all of baseball last year. They were top 5, and they missed the playoffs. They were the only team in the top 5 to miss the playoffs, and that's because their team ERA was at 5, even with Jacob deGrom. And I'm sorry if I'm yelling. We're live here. There may be some stuff. I'm a little yelling. So Mets fans, you know what I'm talking about. Renee, you're thinking Bauer's next. I think that would be a nice move. Max, you like the idea of Bauer? Go get it done. I think that would be a smart move. That would be the way to go, is get the pitching. Your offense is fine now. You scored a ton of runs last year, and now you've added Francisco Lindor. Nobody's really gone from last year's lineup from the offense. Then you added Lindor. So you're going to score a ton of runs as it is now. Adding Springer would be foolish. They need to go get pitching. They need to go and get Trevor Bauer. They need to go and make a trade with the Reds and get Sonny Gray. I don't know. Whatever they do, they have to make sure that the pitching is in order. And maybe they do feel like the pitching is in order now with Carlos Carrasco coming on board. I mean, the Mets depth chart now, the pitching rotation will sort of look like, I don't have a graphic for it. We'll just talk about it real quick. You got deGrom, you got Stroman, you got Carrasco, you got Syndergaard coming back. So there's your top 4. In your 5 spot, you're going to roll around with Matz and Lugo maybe, Peterson, right? So you got some other pieces there for that 5 spot, but I don't know. I kind of feel like just if you got the money to spend, shore up that rotation. If you want to win a World Series, if you're a Mets fan and you want to win a World Series, this move gets you close. This move gets you close. You want to be a World Series contender? Go out and get Bauer, in my opinion. Go out and get a pitcher that has the chance to be another top line, to roll out there with deGrom. Look at what the Padres did. They now have a couple of top line starters. Mets, go out and do the same thing, because right now you got deGrom, and then Stroman's a question mark. Syndergaard's a question mark. Matz is a mess. I think that's something that they need to do. Syndergaard could come back and be great, or he could not, and that's what they need to protect themselves. That's what they need to protect themselves of. If Syndergaard comes back and re-aggravates something, they need to protect themselves for that. Abraham Terry, Mets are a very good team. Mets are going to score a ton of runs. They're going to have one of the highest OPSs in all of baseball in 2021. But if their ERA is creeping up to 5 again, it's just going to be a mess again. And they can't do that. Lugo can't pitch in a starting role. They've used him. I know that's not what that's not what you want. That's not what you want. So, yes, this really is all going to be sort of a fascinating situation, how it all plays out. Anybody, again, that's hopping in here, we have some new folks. Please subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the talk. We do this all week long. We go live every Tuesday night for the Ball Cap Nightcap. I'm sure this is something we'll be talking about next Tuesday. So you want to hang in. We're building a nice community here. Again, a lot of names here that are familiar that I've seen before. Yankees 21, thank you for being here. Again, there are some of my Mets fans are not here. There could be another Mets stream going on right now, so I understand that. But yeah, this is something. If you haven't, please do subscribe. Would love it. And if you subscribe, let me know. I will. I'll flash your name up on the screen as well. Diego, Mets are still not going to make the playoffs. I think they will make the playoffs. Do they beat the Braves? I mean, think about the East right now. I still think the Braves are probably the toast of the East. The Mets are close. If the Mets go get that pitching figured out, yeah, I would say the Mets are up there. So it's Mets, it's Braves at the top. Then I think you drop down a tier and it's Phillies and Nats. And then, I think the Marlins are a big question mark right now. The Marlins have a pretty high ceiling, but we'll see what happens. Fantasy Greens, this is a bad trade. Tell me why. Tell us why. I think that considering it's a bad trade for who? Considering that you only are guaranteed Lindor for 1 year, you get Carrasco in there. I don't think it's that bad, but let me know. Richie, new here, big Mets fan for 40 years. Welcome. All right, Joe and John Bart, don't undervalue Carrasco. Certainly. Let's see. Indians won't. Let's see. Where was I'm still waiting to see because we did have Fantasy Greens. Comment in the chat. Let us know. Let me know why you think it's a bad trade. I think it's a fair trade. I think it's okay. If Francisco Lindor is on a multi-year deal still, then maybe the Indians get a little bit more. Maybe the Indians can actually snag the top prospect there. Maybe they can grab Mauricio. But that's not going to happen when you don't know if you're going to bring Lindor back. That's the other thing. The Mets able to keep the system in check because he's not going to sign back. He might not, right? They're not guaranteed him signing back. They're not. But at the same time, Mauricio, if you're a Mets fan, I think you look at him as your future shortstop. You get Beatty as your future third baseman. So if Lindor does skip town, they can absorb it. It won't be ideal, but they could absorb it and still be a good team because we talked about it. The team right now scored a ton of runs, had one of the highest OPSs in baseball, but still missed the playoffs because they gave up a ton of runs. So even if Lindor bounces after a year, the system is still intact, and the rest of that lineup is still there. So you see, Fuzzy is not going to be an Indians fan. Poor Fuzzy. Yeah, I mean the Indians. It's not fun. We've all sort of been there, right? We've all sort of been there at some point when our team trades away the star player, decides to not re-sign him, moves on. I don't understand the Cleveland philosophy here because Cleveland, they don't have a huge payroll right now. They could afford him. They really could afford him, in my opinion. The Indians could have afforded to bring Lindor back. Got to wonder if there's any more moves that Cleveland's going to do. What's going to happen with J-Ram? That's a big question. What is going to happen with J-Ram? We will see. Let's see. Jackson, welcome in, buddy. I see you there. Jackson, usually here as Orioles 2041 world champion. I think he's optimistic about that 2041. Mets don't need DJ. I agree with you there. The last thing the Mets need is another bat at this point. Pitching. pitching. That's what needs to happen. Fantasy Greens is a Yankee fan. I believe Fantasy Greens, I think this probably motivates the Yankees. You tell me what you think. Do you think this motivates the Yankees to just go get that DJ LeMahieu deal done now? You got to get that deal done now. I felt like Lindor was a backup in case they didn't get LeMahieu done. But Lindor's off the table now for the Yankees. I think they need to go and just get that DJ LeMahieu deal done now. Let's see. Watching the comments, Yankees signed Greg Allen. Saw that. Does this mean the Mets from Jackson? Does this mean that Springer most likely won't be met? I think so. I think that's one of the domino effects here. I think there are a few domino effects to this deal happening, and one of it is that I don't think Springer ends up in New York anymore. I think Cohen's got his head on straight. I think he knows what needs to be done. So I think right now, if you're thinking about Springer is probably most likely headed to Toronto at this point, or maybe a mystery team kind of hops in there, or I don't think he's going back to Houston. So the Springer situation, I got to think now the Mets are probably out on Springer, puts the Blue Jays in the driver's seat, which hurts Springer's negotiating, right? Because as long as the Mets are involved, as long as New York is involved, then Springer can say, I got $35 million on the table from the Mets. If the Mets do this Lindor deal and then they come out and they say that, that's the only piece we're going to add. That's the bat we're adding. We're done. Then that really kills Springer's ability to negotiate, because it's just going to be the Blue Jays naming their price. Let's see. We got a lot. Are the Phillies in on anyone from Joey Mink? Phillies are quiet right now. Diego Maldonado, is Arenado next? I don't think so. I do think Colorado needs to do that deal, but I don't think so yet. I feel like the next deals that are going to happen, I feel the next deals are going to be LeMahieu and I think the next deal is LeMahieu. Honestly, Arenado, that trade should happen at some point. They really should. Greg Allen, they just acquired him in a trade with, San Diego. Fantasy Greens is in here. I don't have it in front of me. I think it was a trade with San Diego. They didn't give anybody up. It was they didn't give anybody big up for him. Eric, please don't sign George Springer. I don't think you want it. I don't think you want to do that. I think George Springer now should be a Blue Jay at this point. If the Mets sign Springer, they're sacrificing the pitching. They scored a lot. They were one of the best hitting teams last year, the third OPS, I believe it was, going off memory, and they missed the playoffs. The top 5 teams in OPS made the playoffs, all except the Mets. So a very interesting move here. We'll touch on Lindor again because we got about 100 more people in here than we did at the beginning of the Lindor conversation. One of the things that makes Lindor so good is that he hits the ball in the air. 60% of the balls that Francisco Lindor hits are in the air. Mets fans, get excited. Hit the like too, Mets fans. If you're pumped about this, hit the like. They're either line drives or fly balls. And his exit velo is above league average. It's at 90 miles an hour. League average is at 88. It's not that much above, but it is above. You hit the ball in the air. You have above league average exit velo. That's how you hit 70 to 80 extra base hits a year. That's homers, double. That's driving in runs. That's putting yourself in scoring position. This is a big move. Mets fans, get excited. Kyle, Mets are going to pay Lindor. I think they should. They're going to have the money. That's why don't do Springer, because that's money you could give Lindor. Just stick with Lindor. Lindor's 4 years younger than George Springer. Just go do it. Rahul, why didn't the Jays trade for Lindor? they were probably in the conversation. We don't know. The Indians might have wanted more than what the Blue Jays were willing to offer. Let's see. LeMahieu staying pinstripes. I think so. I think the Yankees, this motivates them to get the deal done. They're talking about this trade right here. If the Blue Jays were trying to pull off a trade like this, and they were going to have to give up a major league ready talent of the level of like Rosario and Gimenez, maybe it's Grichuk. Maybe it would had to have been Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I don't think they wanted to give him up. You've also got a couple of top 10 prospects going away too. That's probably more than Toronto wanted to give up. Toronto wouldn't sign Ha-Seong Kim because, they're being particular. They're not being desperate. The reason why they didn't get him is that they weren't willing to offer, as a part of the contract, a situation where there was a no minor league clause. He wanted to make sure he was going to stay in the major leagues, and the Blue Jays were not willing to give that concession. We're not willing to add that into the contract. So you've got that situation where you saw the Blue Jays sort of hold their ground with Kim. They probably held their ground with Lindor, thinking that the Indians, maybe they wanted Gurriel, maybe they wanted too much. The Mets, I think, gave up just enough. I like that Carrasco piece coming back. I think they did a good. Ultimately, I think this is a good deal. Let's see here. Nash just got $50 million off the books. I have $80 million coming off the books. Could they sign Springer from Jackson? I don't think they're going to do Springer. I think Springer wants to get his money now. We know the Nats like to defer money. I'm sure that would be a part of the game that they would play here. I don't know if they do that. The Nats should go and trade for Eugenio Suarez. That deal should be done. They should just go trade for Suarez, and if they can get Gray with it, go do it. Carter Keyboom, send him away. Send a couple other prospects. Just do that deal. Robert Stevenson, do the Mets go for Bauer? I think they should. I think they do. They need to go and make that deal happen. These trades are messing up all the free agents. The teams aren't waiting around. Some of these, like this trade, I thought would have happened after the signing. I thought that this trade happens once LeMahieu is signed, once Springer is signed, because then maybe if the Mets miss out on both LeMahieu and Springer, then they get aggressive for Lindor. Or if the Blue Jays missed out on both, they would get aggressive for Lindor. But this happens ahead of those free agent moves, which is an indication of how this free agent market is going, right? Springer's digging in. He wants to get $30 million a year. I don't think these teams want to pay him that. And LeMahieu, I think, is just playing teams against each other at this point, with LA getting in on the conversation. What's a realistic contract extension, Muta Growl? I think honestly, do the Mets do the deal now during the current financial situation with the pandemic, or do they wait for next year, wait for the season to get over? I think it's $10,300,000. That's honestly what I think. Mission Hatchell, I see you, buddy. Where is Contreras going? There's a lot of different places he could go. He could end up in Washington. He could stay in Chicago. So that answers that question. So hopefully we can stop asking that question. There has not been a trade for Wilson Contreras. That should happen. If the Cubs are blowing it up, he's gone. If they think they can maybe grab a piece or two and still compete, he'll hang around. And if he goes somewhere else, Washington is a fit. Who else could be a fit? The Mets could have been a fit. How much do you like Thomas Nido back there? Well, you got McCann too. That's true. Never mind about the Mets. Let's see who the Mets give up from Robert Brown. Sure. I'll pull that up one more time. So this is the deal. Looking at it one more time. Lindor and Carrasco to the Mets. Rosario, Gimenez, Wolf, and Greene to the Indians. If you want to know about Gimenez and Rosario, Wolf, and Greene, here's the breakdown on them. We like Gimenez and Rosario because prior to their major league debuts, they were top 100 prospects according to Baseball America. Gimenez peaked at 30. Rosario actually peaked at 8 before the debut. So high quality, high caliber pedigree guys coming to the major leagues. Then You got Wolfe and Greene. And the other nice piece about that is they had that pedigree, and now they've got major league experience. They didn't come in and just flame out. Rosario has gotten progressively better each year. So then you got Wolfe and Greene. Wolfe was drafted 2 years ago. Greene was drafted this past year. Looking at Wolfe, he was the number 9 prospect in the system. Greene, the number 10 prospect in the system. Wolfe, a right-handed pitcher. Again, 2019 drafted 53rd overall. Grades out at a 50 out of 80. Overall, his fastball and his curveball have the best grade, 60. He only played, again, he's somebody who his ETA could be pushed back by there not being minor league baseball last year. Because in 2019, he played in rookie ball. You got to think in 2020, he probably would have been in A ball. He didn't get that opportunity. So he's going to start 2021 in A ball. So he was delayed. But he's young. He's 20 years old. He's got time. And even that rookie spell that he had, it was 8 innings, struck out 12, walked 1, gave up 9 hits. What's that to go off of? But that's Josh Wolfe with the Mets. And then Isaiah Greene was drafted this past season, this past summer, 69th overall, a lefty bat, 50 out of 80 overall. Hitting is 55. His running is 65. Power is only 45. But ultimately, to break in, he came out of high school. He's 19 years old. His ETA is 2024. Not too bad for a guy that's just making the debut to debut at the in the top 10. A top 10 with a system with some good pieces. Mauricio, Alvarez, Beatty, Allen are there at the top. So a good piece there for sure. Appreciate everybody that's in here in the chat. So that is sort of the recap on everything that is going down with this trade. There are a lot of pieces that are sort of moving around, that could move around with this. Again, I think LeMahieu has a quick sign, not a quick sign, but I think LeMahieu should go back to the Yankees at this point. The Yankees got to go get that deal done for the Yankees. Mission Hatcher, would you say Baez to the Yankees if they don't pick up LeMahieu? We talked about that on the Tuesday night ball cap nightcap. That's an interesting idea. I don't know if Baez could make it in New York. His slumps are so bad. I could see the fan base just jumping on him. When he has his month-long 110 batting average, they're going to kill him. He's too streaky. That would be my worry. Diego Didi, I think Didi is a nice idea. Didi or maybe Simeon could be a piece if the Yankees don't get DJ LeMahieu. Rosario wanted out because the Mets didn't put him on a poster from Robert Caesar. I don't know anything about that, but that would be funny. That would be interesting if that would be the case. So we got this trade done. Let's see here. We're talking about it. You guys are talking about it. A good chat situation going on here. Looking forward to seeing what happens next. Eston, yes, I do. I agree. I think the Yankees fans would eat Baez alive. I agree with you on that. All right, so I get 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to put on some Lindor homers for just a second, and I will be right back.
He did the first. See, they're not scoring like he thought they would.
If it's fair, it's gone. It is a home run for Francisco Lindor.
I can control the ball coming out of my hand. I can't control what happens after that.
And nobody can keep that one in the yard. Lindor drives one deep left field. Back on the track is Happy's up, and it's gone! It's a game-tying home run.
He did the first. See, they're not scoring like he thought they would.
If it's fair, it's gone. It is a home run for Francisco Lindor.
I can control the ball coming out of my hand. I can't control what happens after that.
And nobody can keep that one in the yard. Lindor drives one deep left field. Back on the track is Happy's up, and it's gone! It's a game-tying home run.
All right, we're back for a few more minutes here. Hop in, see what's going on with the chat since I last left. Eston, chances LA gets Hendrick. I don't think so, just because they've already got $20 million sunken into that closer position with Jansen. I don't think that happens. Let's see. Fuzzy has a reaction on Twitter. I'm sure Fuzzy, yeah, anybody that's interested in what, Indians and Fuzzy and everything, yeah, you've got a big, he's going to have a big video there. Kevin W., thank you for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate it. Lindor has been overrated, underperforming for years. That is quite a hot take, Kevin. I think he's been pretty good. He's entering his age 27 season. That's big. Like, this is a guy that is only going to should continue to get a little bit better. He's been a really good player. He missed the start of the season a few years ago, but still finished as one of the best. I'm maybe a little bit higher on Francisco Lindor, but I appreciate the super chat again. That's a hot take. That is a hot take for sure. What if the Blue Jays play in the? Yeah, that's a whole other situation. You bring up a good question. Where are the Blue Jays going to play? That's a great one. They're going to have the minor league season to compete with. So not really sure how that's going to play out. What are the chances the Jays get Springer now that Lindor's with the Mets? I think there's a very good chance. I think this could be an indication, Art. I think this could be an indication that Springer could be leaning towards the Blue Jays. That's my feeling anyway. I don't see the Mets going and getting. I don't see the Mets going and adding more to the bats. I just don't see it happening. Bauer to the Angels, Atticus. Yes, certainly. I think that's what the Angels need to do. The Angels or the Mets should be making a hard push for Trevor Bauer. Certainly. They'll do something to get Springer, no doubt. Eston. Yeah, I think now we'll see how it all plays out. But the Mets, especially if they come out and they say we're out on Springer, then he loses a lot of his bargaining power. He loses a lot. He loses a big chip. He can't then anymore say that, I got $35 million a year offer from the Mets. That's gone. Now the Blue Jays, if the Mets do indeed announce that they're dropping out, the Blue Jays are the number one. They'll be negotiating against themselves. Let's see. Sabo 308, no to Bauer. Not paying him more than DeGrom. Could understand that. Kevin thinks Draftneck Mark's going to go crazy. No, he's a Mets fan. Going to have to see what some of the bigger Twitter personalities say about this. I would think that Mark and Fuzzy could maybe do a video together about this. A dual side-by-side reaction would be kind of funny. If you want to see that, go to their channels and comment. Tell them you want to see a dual reaction. That would be pretty good. So let's see. Jackson Stevenson is the Nats fourth outfielder ranked. Stevenson's going to get a chance for the Nats. That's for sure. He'll get a chance. Let's see. Let's see. So this is going to be interesting. All right. Again, anybody that's new in here, hit a like on the video. Appreciate that. And if you are new to the channel, you're just discovering it with this, please subscribe. We are building a nice baseball community here. I want you to be a part of it. A lot of familiar people in here. A lot of my Mets fans. I'm surprised a few of them are not in here, but that's okay. Again, there's probably some other Mets streams going on right now, or they're busy. This will be up for replay. So anybody that missed the beginning of this will be available for replay after. So again, please subscribe if you haven't already. We'll do one recap of the deal, and then I'm going to have to wrap it up. I hate to wrap it up early. We got 175 people in here right now, but I also want to keep it brief for anybody who wants to check this out after the fact. A lot of times, if you see a video that's like 2 hours long, you're like, I'm not clicking on that. So I do want to keep it brief for anyone after the fact. But we're going to go through a recap of the trade one more time. So let's do it real quick. One more recap on the trade. Lindor heading to the Indians for some nice pieces. Rosario and Gimenez come over. Both of them were top 100 MLB prospects before their major league debut. So they had a nice sort of ramp up to their big league debut, and they performed well. Wolf and Greene, top 10 prospects by the Mets, actually number 9 and number 10, grading out Wolf at 55, Greene at 50 out of 80 on the scale. Wolf has a nice fastball. Greene, more of his best tool is his running, his speed right now. And Lindor and Carrasco to the Mets. The Mets get their lineup piece. Carrasco gives them some depth in the rotation. We talked about the rotation earlier. It's now DeGrom, Stroman, Carrasco, Syndergaard, and then you're going to rotate some Mats at the number 5 spot, or they make another move, which I believe should be the next move. The next move should not be a hitter. The next move should not be George Springer. It should be a pitcher because the hitting is fine now. They were the number 3 team in OPS last year, and they missed the playoffs. They were the only team in the top 5 to miss the playoffs in OPS. They didn't get it done, and that was a big miss. That was a big miss. So the pitching needs to be the next move. This is a quick look at the depth chart. This is what a Mets lineup would look like with Francisco Lindor. Breathe that in. Breathe that in. That offense is going to score runs. That's why they need pitching. They don't need Springer anymore. And that there could be an indication that this means that Springer, they might be out on the Springer sweepstakes. I felt that a Lindor trade would happen after Springer signed by a team that missed out on Springer or LeMahieu. This happens first. This could sort of flip-flop how the dominoes would have fall for a LeMahieu or a Springer move. So we have all this. We'll talk about our boy Lindor here real quick again. So his situation, 4-time All-Star, only entering his age 27 season, but that's the big thing. He's an unrestricted free agent after the 2021 season. He's got one more year of arbitration left. You got to think that the Mets are prepared to pay him. That's why I don't think they go and pay Springer. Don't do that because you got Lindor. Lindor's better. Lindor is younger. Lindor plays a great position, shortstop. Baseball HQ, their projection for him, 98 runs, 28 homers, and 76 RBI with a 279, 341, 484 slash line. Spot Track's current market value has Lindor getting around $28 million. I think that if he signs an extension once this is all done, we're probably looking at something in the neighborhood of 30 for 10. We're going to be looking at a Trout-like, a Harper-like, a Machado-like deal for Francisco Lindor when this happens. Closer look at Lindor. Over the last few years, he hits the ball in the air. And that is a big piece of his whole value, the reason why he's so good. Again, anybody hopping in here for the first time, would love for you to subscribe and like the video. We're building a nice community here. Want you to be a part of it. So Lindor over the last few years, about 60% of the balls that he's putting in play are in the air. That's either that's either line drives or fly balls. His exit velo is around 90 miles an hour. The baseball MLB average is 88. That is how you get 70 to 80 extra base hits a year. 70 to 80 extra base hits a year is a wonderful number. Anybody that does not believe that is going to help you, he is fantastic. He is really good. I'm high on him. Had been an all-star 4 years running. Ended last year because there was no all-star game. Led the league in runs back in 2018. Played in every game this last year. He's been healthy for the most part of his career. That's another key component of this is his health. You're not getting a guy that has missed a lot of time because he's been injured or anything like that. Really just one time in his career. 2016, 158 games. 2017, 159. 2018, 158. 2019, 143. That was the year he got started late because he missed the first month of the season. But then he played every game after that. And he played every game last year. So you got durability on your side. And again, 2019, he missed the first half of the year. He still reached his career norms with home runs, with doubles. 40 doubles and 32 home runs in a year that he was shortened. We haven't seen Francisco Lindor go a full season in 2 years now, because we only got 60 games last year and he missed the first month of the season in 2019. If he puts up another 158, 159 like he done the 3 previous seasons, I mean, we're looking at a guy that could push 40 homers, is going to go probably close to 50. I mean, it's an unreal number. Mets fans, get excited. You should be excited. This is a big move. This is a big move for the New York Mets. So get pumped, get excited about it. But we're going to wind down now. Thank you, everybody, for hopping in here. Thank you for everybody that's here now. Day Trader Joe, Jackson Romero, Tyler, Eston, Dylan, Steel Badger, Seeger, thank you for being here again. Rod, thank you for being here. We got a lot of folks that are regulars in the chat. Thank you for coming in. Anybody that is new, come on back. We do the ball cap nightcap every Tuesday night. We go live every time something big happens. So set the alert as well. So when something happens, we're here and we have sort of a breakdown similar to what we have now. I hope you guys have felt this to be very useful. But I am going to wind this down. So thank you guys for coming in and enjoying the stream. Before we go, we're going to sort of go off one more time. We'll put the trade up. And we will finish up with a few Francisco Lindor home runs. Thank you all again for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Go find me on Twitter. I'm talking baseball real time all day long. Jim Riley Live on Twitter. Thank you guys again for being here. And again, stay close to the channel because we will be doing more when news like this breaks. Thank you, guys.
He did the first. See, they're not scoring like he thought they would.
If it's fair, it's gone. It is a home run for Francisco Lindor.
I can control the ball coming out of my hand. I can't control what happens after that.
And nobody can keep that one in the yard. Lindor drives one deep left field. Back on the track is Happy's up, and it's gone! It's a game-tying home run.